welcome back, Life Sciences. I hope again you haven't run away because, as I said, these terms are really scary, lots of fights and all these phylogenetic trees. As I said to you, just go back, look at your notes, right, go back over the video and just relax and keep watching and seeing if you can understand the different concepts of the plants. Remember, we're looking at evolution, how the changes occurred over time. Okay, we're going to have a look at some of the possible questions we could ask you on the section. Let's see how well you do. Okay, guys, so the question here is, I've given you a diagram, and I'm hoping already that you are looking at it and you can see and identify it, and already in your head you understand where it's going to fit in. So I tell you that the diagram below is a non-seed, all right, so it's seedless, and it is a vascular plant. So it has got xylem and it's got phloem, all right. So those are concepts you need to, oopsie, there we go, OE, sorry. Those are concepts that you're going to need to understand. So what kind of questions can we ask you? There's some simple questions here that you need to know your work. So the first question is, to which plant group? Now remember I said to you there were 4 different kinds of plant groups: the bryophyte, the pteridophyte, the gymnosperm, and the angiosperm. And this is a fern. This is the fern. So the plant group, you cannot say fern. That is an example, right? It wants you, and that's the long one. And if you say it phonetically, pteridophyte, that's fine. Don't worry about your pronunciation. Just worry about if you can say it phonetically. Say it how it sounds, and it's going to be much easier for you. So the plant group, right, not example of it, is the pteridophyte. Okay, the next question. What is the dominant generation? Now remember you had 2 generations. Okay, what was my chances are? Gametophyte and the sporophyte. Those were your 2 generations. Now what do we know? The only plant group that had gametophyte as its main generation was the moss. And this is not the moss. What is this? This is the fern. So what is the dominant generation? The sporophyte generation. So please make sure that you know that. The only plant group where the dominant generation is the gametophyte was the moss. The rest of the groups, everything else that we did, the dominant generation is the sporophyte, the spore-producing, right, generation. Okay, now it says identify plant part labeled A. Now A is the stem, and it's called a rhizome because it is an underground stem. So part number A is called a rhizome. So the part number A, rhizome, because this would probably be the ground, and that is going to be underneath. Okay, now it says state 1 function. Guys, when it says 1, you give 1. You cannot give a list because your teacher, as soon as it says 1, your teacher is instructed, right, to mark the first one. Now, what is the function of a stem? Okay, so the stem, even though it's underground, what's it going to do? It's going to give or keep the plant sturdy. Keep the plant, I'm going to say, sturdy or upright, even though it is underneath the ground. Guys, what is it going to do? It's a base for the leaves. Right? What else does it do? What grows from the stem? Right, the roots. Roots grow from the stem, and what does it do? It anchors. It anchors the plant in the soil. Okay. So I've given you 2 here. So basically it's got to do with, right, anchorage, keeping it upright, keeping it sturdy. You don't want it to fall over. And underneath the ground, it's going to have soil on the top, right? And that's going to ensure that the leaves grow out of the top and the roots grow out of the bottom, and you've got this whole contraption that keeps everything anchored, right? It keeps it anchored in the soil, it keeps it sturdy, right? And it does its job of supporting the plant. Okay, now you need to think. This can be quite a challenging question. The plant shown below can grow into a large plant. Yes, we can get very large plants. Name 3 features. What 3 things does this plant have that enables it, all right, look here, this plant to survive in a terrestrial life? Terrestrial means land. Now, what's the first thing that it can do? Number 1, what does it have? It has vascular tissue. If it has vascular tissue, what can it do? It can transport water. All right. And what else can vascular tissue do? Vascular tissue is strengthening tissue. So if it's strengthening and if it can transport water, what can it do? It can grow very large. So these two are actually 2 points alone. The vascular tissue alone allows it, all right, to grow tall because of the xylem and the phloem, right? And also xylem and phloem are made up of hard lignin. Don't know if you can remember when you might have done plant tissue, right? That's like dead tissue, and it's that dead tissue actually makes it grow tall, and the xylem and phloem can actually make it grow wider. Right, what else do I have? Now have a look here. I have got leaves. I've got big leaves, and what have the leaves got in it? The leaves have got a stem. Right, leaf stalk, if I may, if I use that. And what does that mean? It means again that the leaves are sturdy. They're strong. They're not going to flop all over the place. So they've got a steady, right, strong tissue attached to it that enables it to be nice and firm. Once again, supporting. So the stronger it is, the bigger the leaf can become. All right? And once again, it says here, into a large plant and the terrestrial. Now, what else do leaves have here? They have a cuticle. And what does that mean? That means that it doesn't, the loss of water, all right, is minimized. So because it has a cuticle, it's not going to lose a lot of water. Because it doesn't lose a lot of water, the plant can grow nice and big. And because it's got a cuticle, it can live on land, right? It can survive much better on land. Okay, that was that question, basically on the fern. The next question is that whole idea of a phylogenetic tree. Right, so here we've got, how do I know it's a phylogenetic tree? Right, what am I showing? I'm showing some kind of, all right, time here, and I'm showing, there's my, all right, my points, and now I'm going to have a look. Here I can see my common ancestor and things that I've pointed out at the end. Okay, so guys, it says here, which group of plants is represented by non-vascular? Right, so the only group that is non-vascular, if you have a look here, this is my ancestral algae. So the non-vascular group would be the very oldest plant group. So if I look here, which one is the oldest? Because this is old and this is new, right? What branches are first? There we go, my bryophytes. Okay, they're going to be the oldest. The next question, from the phylogenetic tree, which group of plants were the last to evolve? That means on my time scale, which are the newest. Okay, and the newest, they would be at the top of my line, and that is going to be my angiosperms. The last to evolve, first, last. Right, and I think we're going to have to leave it to there because I know we're running out of time, and our last question, right, is how we're going to tabulate the differences between a bryophyte and an angiosperm. Draw up a table, see if you can do it. We've run out of time for the day. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time.